Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is bench press tips. Now, first of all, I'm not a great bench presser, but I've just worked my way up to 285 pounds for 3 repetitions in spite of not really, that's the best I've ever done in my life, and I'm 56 years old. So I think I've got a little bit to offer on this and how you might think about increasing your bench press, get stronger, get a bit better chest and all of that. The first thing I would say is you need to learn the proper technique, and I think the proper technique is the starting strength style of bench press. It's got a lot of the components of a powerlifting style, meaning you've got a good arch, you set up, you get yourself set, you got a good arch, and you're puffing your chest up, and you're placing the bar on your chest in the powerlifting position. Where it deviates from the powerlifters is it doesn't have quite, you're not typically going to have your hands out so wide, and you're probably going to have, you won't have your elbows flared out too much. So some of the powerlifters do this to have to decrease the length of the stroke on it, so you don't have to move the bar as far. Well, the starting strength style isn't exactly to get the absolute most weight. It's to get them to lift the most weights with the proper range of motion to build the most strength. And in the doing that, you're trying to avoid the injury that the bench press sometimes will cause you. Like what seems to be the worst problem in the bench is when you got your elbows kind of flared out at a 90 degrees to your body. I know this is how I hurt myself back in the day when I was in my 20s, because that was what was told to us as the proper method. That's what the bodybuilders used, and that, because of that movement, it probably did make your chest develop nicer, right? And that's, let's say the look of your chest of your pecs are nice. It's just that they won't look that good if you're got a torn pec or your injured shoulder and you can't lift for 3 or 4 years because of his injury, right? So I would suggest you give up some of the looks idea and go with the proper technique that's going to help you not get injured, right? And that's, when you lift, people get very excited, and you lift outside yourself, and you lose your good form, and you try to do too much. Yeah, I get that. I've done that myself. You're always pushing. What you'll find is that sometimes your mind is so much stronger than your body. Your body is screaming at you to stop, and your mind says, go. And we've all we watch the movies, we see the sports, the coaches are, screaming at you to keep going and play through the pain. Well, that's a lot of bunk. But anyway, the technique, learn that technique with your elbows more at not a 90 degree to your body, more like a 45 degree almost. And then you want your hands placed on the bar so that when the bar is at the lowest point, resting on your chest, your forearms are vertical. Okay, that will put the least pressure on your wrists and your elbows. And then also, when you grab the bar, you want it so the bar is resting on the meat part of your hand, and your hand is kind of, your fingers are this, this part of your fingers, the part from your knuckle, from the knuckles on your hand to the first knuckle is parallel with the ground, not pulled back with your wrist extended. You don't want your wrist extended, right? Those are kind of the main ideas. You want a good arch, not an excessive arch, but an arch. You want your chest puffed up. You want to have a leg drive, meaning you are pinching, you're kind of compressing your body a little bit with your legs. Go to the Starting Strength website and learn about the bench press. I like to have wrist wraps. My wrists for my last warm-up set and my work set, that seems to make me feel better. I haven't had any wrist problems now for a number of years using this technique, even though, after the workouts, my wrists sometimes bother me. But really, with the wraps, they've been pretty good. Regarding the kind of the rep scheme, you do want to make sure you're well warmed up, but you don't want to do a lot of warm-up repetitions. If you're going to be doing work sets of 3 to 5 repetitions, you really don't want to ever go over 5 repetitions on your warm-up sets. And of course, this flies in the face of what we've been told, right? When I was benching, you'd do like 15 reps with the bar, and then you'd put on 135 and do 12, and then put 185 and do 10, and so that by the time you get up to your actual work sets, you're pretty much wiped out, and you don't want that. You want to save your energy for the actual work sets at that high weight, right? So that would mean the repetitions that you do in your warm-ups would be low. If you think you need more volume, then do more volume with your work sets, or in a descending, after you do your work set. I still have like a lingering elbow problem, so I work up to a work set of 3 repetitions with the highest weight I can get, and at some point the weight will probably be about as much as I can get, and then I'll probably drop back the weight down and work back at the 5 repetitions. But you don't want to get worn out with excessively high warm-up repetitions, or even excessively high sets in your warm-ups. Right now, I think I do I do the bar a couple times. I do 95 once for a set, 135, 185, 225, and then I do how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do 6 warm-up sets and then a work set. And those last couple of warm-up sets, I only do 1 rep. I only do 1 rep because those are fairly high. Those are fairly high weights, and I don't want to get worn out, because of the elbow problem. I want to focus on and get that work set to keep my strength up. So the other thing is, you want to do the bench press first when you have your highest energy. You want to have a fairly significant gap in time between the last time you worked your upper body. I work the bench and some other exercises, and then my other workout is a press and other exercises. So those 2 movements are stressors on my shoulders, so I like a nice gap in between those workouts, so my shoulders feel great and my elbow is as good as it's going to feel, and I've got plenty of energy. sometimes I like to not do any kind of exercise the day before I do the weight training. If I'm a little bit not quite feeling it, instead of, doing some sort of a calisthenic or some sort of a cardio or even a long walk, I might just take the whole day off beforehand so I feel good at the beginning of the workout. Before you do the bench press, it would be good to have some sort of a decent meal, so you kind of feel you got plenty of energy. You need that. Your mind has to be, you don't want to be dragging. Caffeine, obviously, a big cup of coffee at some point before the workout. I like to take some branched chain amino acids before the workout. And I just and I also want to, another thing that you want to try to do is be kind of thinking of the weight you're going to move and your reps in the couple of days before the workout. Keep thinking of it. Remember what you did before and say, I'm going to beat that, 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 I'm going to make a little more, right? And you're just creeping the weights upward. That's, when you get to a higher weights on the bench, that you're not going to be taking 10-pound jumps, right? 5-pound jumps. I'm considering getting some very small weights just to bring, so I can, just add just a little bit of weight instead of that. At a normal gym, usually the normal jump up is 5 pounds, right? That's the smallest you can go. Well, when you get your bench up there, that's a big jump, right? You might want to get some even smaller weights. Not sure why this isn't a common thing at a gym. Just why is 5 a magic number? I mean, why wouldn't it be 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But that would be up to you if you want to go to that expense and buy those weights that you carry around. But like I said, I'm very, very pleased to have made that bench lift. I think if you're not a great bencher, you can probably use some of those ideas. Certainly, when you're benching a lot, your chest is gonna get really hard. You won't have a droopy chest. You'll be able to pull it back. You're gonna have a big chest, and that fills out your shirts, and you look like a big guy when you have a big chest. And it's fun. It's fun to push around that much weight. So give those ideas some thought. All for now.